Well, the National Basketball Association just unveiled a radical departure for the format of next week's NBA All-Star Game. And that format comes from the imagination of a Ball State University professor. Bill Benner has more in this week's Inside Indiana Sports. Bill.
Gary, thanks. Well, in short, as the NBA All-Star Game heads toward a fourth quarter conclusion next week, the teams won't be playing to the zeros at the end of the clock, but to a target score. It's the so-called Elam Ending, and it has roots in a book, Time's Up for Basketball's Game Clock, written by now Ball State professor Nick Elam all the way back in 2007. And Professor Elam joins us on the program today. Welcome. Thanks for making the drive from Muncie. This is really something. Before we get into the background of it, just give us a quick synopsis of what will take place at the end of the NBA All-Star Game next week.
Sure. So I'm a lifelong basketball fan, and so the idea of this concept is not to change basketball. Really, it's to do the opposite, to preserve that more natural style of play through the end of every game. So the Elam Ending in a nutshell is that you play most of the game with a clock, and you play the last part of the game without a clock. There's different variations that you could use, but the NBA is going to use a format where you have a clock for the first 3 quarters, and then for the fourth quarter you play without a clock, and you have to set a target score, and you play without a clock to that target score.
Okay, and so if the East team is ahead 110 to 100, this year because of Kobe Bryant, they're going to add 24 points, so the first team to 134 would win.
That's correct? Exactly right. So you come back, it's still, you come back from the break, it's still 110 to 100. Playing first team to 134 wins. And the idea is that if you've got the lead, you can't just stall and play passively. You have to keep playing assertively to get to that target score. If you're behind, you don't have to foul and hand away free points. You can still get good defensive stops. If you're behind and you're on offense, you can keep getting your best look. And the whole combination of factors makes the outcome of the game less predictable, makes late comebacks more likely, and somehow, some way, the game's going to end with the swish of a net, so you get that memorable game-ending moment.
And you came up with this concept again back in 2007, but it's not untested. It's called TBT, the basketball tournament. ESPN is made for programming, summer programming. They have a tournament, and they've been using this format.
That's exactly right. So again, it took me 10 years of reaching out to different people in the basketball world before someone took a chance on it. And TBT was the league that wanted to try it out. And they were the ones who actually gave it the name, the Elam Ending. And so they tried it out on an experimental basis in 2017. And this is a version really that I prefer, where you would only get rid of the clock for the last few minutes of the game. But they liked it so much there that they've gone all in with it, and they use it across their full tournament in 2018, 2019, and they're going to use it going forward. I'm really excited for this year's edition. They're going to have a Purdue alumni team in TBT this year.
Interestingly, when the NBA announced that they said, well, we're going to go with the Elam Ending, they didn't identify who you were. But what was it like when you got the call from the NBA offices and said, this is your deal, we're going to go with it?
It was very exciting, and in some ways it felt surreal, and in other ways it felt extra real, because I had envisioned that kind of a call so many times over the years, and I just knew that it was only a matter of time before it would have this kind of a breakthrough, and it would get this chance on the biggest stage. We're going to see the best players in the world on one court using this format. And so the NBA called me and gave me heads up that there would be an upcoming announcement. They said they wanted to show their appreciation, and that they're going to send me to All-Star Weekend with the guests to take it all in
Nick,
person.
As we wrap up real quickly, also there will likely be, in Indiana doing sports gambling now, sports wagering, there will be a prop bet about who hits that game deciding shot in the NBA All-Star Game.
That's right. So if you think that LeBron's going to win it with the dunk, or maybe James Harden's going to win it with the 3, who knows? But yeah, you can wager on that along with many other things. So this is tailor-made for here in the boom of sports wagering.
And by the way, his role as a professor at Ball State's in educational leadership, so it has nothing to do with sports and basketball. Congratulations. This is a very cool concept. Can't wait to see it play out at the NBA All-Star Game. Have a great time in Chicago.
Thank you.
Gary, back to you.